Okay, so this is a response to uh, a Republican debate from earlier this year. A little spat between Ron Paul and Rick Santorum. It's a response to the video. I forget the actual title of it, but it was basically Ron Paul kicking Rick Santorum's ass. But the issue was Iran. And I wanted to point out that all the excuses that Rick Santorum, that man that we know is passionate about women's rights, passionate about gay rights. Uh, he was stating that we've got to bring freedom to Iran because they're so oppressive to their women and gays and whatnot. And just for that to come out of Rick Santorum's mouth, you have to know that if not all politicians are complete bullshitters, that Rick Santorum is definitely, if he's probably the biggest bullshitter of them all. I mean, he could, if he was president, he would enact those types of oppression in this country. All right, birth control wouldn't be allowed. Uh, what else? No abortions. Not even in life of mother situations or rape or anything like that. Now, granted, I mean, I can agree that adoption's better, but if you really want to end abortion or lower the amount of abortions, you don't also say that you shouldn't be handing out condoms at high schools and whatnot. You shouldn't be anti-birth control. That's kind of like the reverse of wanting to have your cake and eat it too. It's but it's the same type of thing. It's just a very nasty cake. You want a very nasty cake, and you want to be able to force feed it to someone else. But at any rate, we always use those excuses to invade other countries, and Ron Paul was 100% correct in saying that we've got to stop that. Completely correct. Uh, and the lie that Rick Santorum said that Ron Paul is just like Obama on that issue. Um, Obama's a bit of a warmonger himself, all right, and he uses the same thing. Oh, we got to bring freedom. We bring freedom with bombs. Yeah, that's the way we do it. Um, Instead of I don't know, open trade and things like that, and diplomacy, you know. But I guess that's too uh, not as fun. I guess is a better way to put it. It's not as fun for our military-industrial complex. But Rick Santorum, you know, that man is. I'm glad he's not the nominee for the Republican Party, because that would be scary if he had a chance to be president. But Romney versus Obama is a bunch of crap too. I mean, our culture in general is in such a mode of assimilation that you know. Actually, that would be this. That's a topic for another video. I don't even have time to get into that. But Rick Santorum should be exiled. He should be put on an island all by himself, and maybe let him have his family with him, But I don't know. Only if they want to go. I'm not sure they'd want to go. He, Rick Santorum's probably the type of person that I don't know, borders on raping his own wife or something. Probably tells her it's time for her wifely duties, and then they do missionary position, and it lasts 5 minutes, but I can guarantee you, there's probably no birth control usage. That's another thing. It's funny that most of the people that are against birth control are I hate to say it, but usually are the stupidest people that exist. So, we can't accept the idea of human evolution as being progressive, and I don't mean in the political sense. I mean in, like the people who are more likely to survive climate changes and things of that nature are not the ones surviving. You know, the idiots are by far the majority, and eventually we're just going to blow up everything. So who cares? Fuck it. Sucks that Ron Paul didn't take over the Republican Party, because we need a party that has many of his ideas anyways. I'm still researching a lot of his economic ideas, but I do know he's the only Republican who hates corporatism and doesn't define corporatism as capitalism. So at least he's not your standard let corporations run everything and that's somehow free market, But I don't know. At any rate, it's too bad. It's too bad. It's too bad Rand Paul endorsed Mitt Romney. I don't know what's going on with it anymore. I haven't paid any attention. I would like to see Ron Paul run as a third-party candidate, because he appeals to both the people on the extreme left who are against war, who are for cognitive liberty, against the war on drugs, against drug laws in general, and he also appeals to people on the extreme right to a degree. People who think that, well, the extreme non-corporate right, people who want to start small businesses, who want to increase competition rather than limit it by just funneling money upwards to the corporations. In fact, I would go as far as to suggest that we need new antitrust legislation that considers corporatism to be a type of antitrust violation. Basically, we should ban corporations. But yeah, he appeals to the extreme right that wants low taxes and small government. And what's so great is I've talked with many Ron Paul supporters, and you've got people on the left and right being able to agree. Like the right, they might, that those extreme people on the right, they have no problem with the idea of decreasing drug law, ending the war on drugs, not going to war, because they're fiscally conservative, and all that shit costs all kinds of taxpayer money. And it would be best if individuals didn't have to pay so much taxes. And if you notice, the other candidates that talk about fiscal conservatism, they talk about cutting the smallest things, and it's usually the things that are there to act as a safety net. And I hate to tell them, but if you, even if you had no taxes, if you got into a situation to where you had an economic crash and you had no safety net, it would be that much harder to climb out of the economic crash. And furthermore, it would be worse, because those safety nets provide funds for people to be able to spend money, which is what keeps the economy going. And it's kind of weird to think about. It's almost like a big pyramid scheme where we're just transferring capital back and forth. Worthless capital, by the way, that isn't backed by anything. And we got the Federal Reserve with their quantitative easing. Keep printing the money, dumbasses. We'll end up like 1920s Germany, and then the next thing you know, we'll have fucking Adolf Hitler being our fucking president. And then who knows what's going to happen. But anyways, props to Ron Paul. Sad that this is the last run for president, because I'm not sure that I trust Rand Paul to be as noble and idealistic as Ron Paul. He seems to be a bit more pragmatic. But I think the key to fight this mindless middle is an alliance between the extreme left and the extreme right. Because, and the extreme right people I'm talking about is the ones small government. People who want small government don't care if homosexuals are allowed to get married. That's not the government's business. People who want small government don't care if people want to ingest drugs. That's not the government's business. Those are true conservatives. True conservatives support gay marriage, support cognitive liberties, support all of that. Support freedom, support liberty. And not the liberty that Rick Santorum talks about, which is the freedom to do what he thinks you ought to do. And he actually said that in a speech, and people cheered him. It's a scary time in this nation. It really is. And I've rambled on now from the main point, but it's just ridiculous to hear Rick Santorum complain about the way Iran or Iran or Iraq or any place in the Middle East treats their women and homosexuals, when clearly he would love to do the same thing here, because he is a homophobic, sexist bastard. So fuck you, Rick Santorum. You're a complete stupid son of a bitch, and you don't deserve to run for anything. I hate to say this, but I'm not even sure you deserve to live. But that's taking it a bit far. Everybody deserves to live, even if you're an idiot.